I mean, we work through these technical difficulties. You know how we do.
Yeah, it's, it's always a nightmare.
Hey,
Welcome, everybody.
that's why I gotta say it would not be a Dude Network production if we didn't have technical difficulties somewhere.
Some
Somewhere.
somehow, some way, every
That's
time.
right.
I don't get it.
Every time.
So
But we still managed to make it to happen though.
oh, we're gonna make it happen.
Oh, absolutely.
You can hear me though, good and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, we're good. Yep,
Uh,
absolutely.
Damon, how the hell are you?
Hey man, I'm doing good, man. I probably a little bit better than you right now. I mean, I
I
thought
mean,
I
we're
thought you
rolling, but
yeah, I thought you was gonna blow a gasket there for a minute though.
bro, because it's like, how many times we gotta start one of these shows with a broken foot?
Hey, but appreciate everybody showing up tonight. Hey, if
Mm-hmm.
you hadn't already, don't forget to thumbs up and like the show. It helps us out, helps everybody else know what we got going here.
Yep, we got Robert in the house. What's up,
What's up,
Robert?
Robert?
Adventures.
What's up?
Hey, Lucy's. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Tracy?
Let's see. All right.
That's about it. That's about it.
There's a couple people excited about that. Oh shoot! Oops, there we go. But first,
Yeah.
you guys all know how we roll over here on the Dude Network, and our podcasts are brought to you by, especially if you're listening to them later. Shout out to all our listeners.
That's right. Appreciate you too.
Wherever you get your podcasts from. Look at that. Look at that beauty.
Garage beer.
Shout out Damon for keeping us fresh, man.
Beer flavored beer.
Fresh garage beer, folks. Classic beer flavored beer. It's a light, so it's an all dayer.
That's right.
Also, on the other side, closer to Damon, you'll notice the classic lime beer. Yep. We haven't played with you. Tony hasn't been joshing yet. That is available wherever garage beer is available. And obviously that's being worked on getting it everywhere because
that's right.
It should be everywhere.
Be patient. Be patient. It's coming.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. So how was your week, bro?
Hey, the week wasn't too bad. The weekend was kind of busy. Not terrible, but I spent a couple hours in the smoke shack today, which was well needed.
Yeah, right. Good old therapy session.
Yeah, man. Cooked a couple of things, done some meal prepping for the week. What about you?
Yeah, same.
I got you.
Well, yesterday, let's see, I got called into work Friday night at like 11 again, or 11:50, exact same time. The calls were 1 minute apart. First one on Monday night was 11:49. This one was 11:50.
Jeez, man.
That one I was there all night though. Left in the morning. Said I'll see you guys Wednesday.
Good night.
I was there Saturday or Friday night for what was it like? I don't know, a couple hours. Just we had one boiler offline, and anytime you come back up, it's always like, "Yo, Salted Bite, what's up?" Go check her out, folks. Yep. Or go check anybody you see in the chat. You
That's
should
right.
Be supporting each other, and
that's right.
You know what I mean?
It's there. They got great pages too, man.
The TD
all of them
team is awesome people. So, but yeah, so then I get up, or I was only there for a couple hours. So I get this analyzer. It just needed a restart, refresh, whatever.
Yeah.
But then it just messes me up hours-wise schedule. But I did get to do something. I know I've been talking with you and Tony about. I made them homemade Zab pickles.
I've seen that.
So, I mean, with I know with certain types of quick pickling and stuff, you can eat them in like a 4 hours, 5 hours or something.
Okay, right.
Or like refrigerator quick pickles or whatever overnight. I always go 2 days and then start munching them. So tomorrow we will know how it is to Zab pickles.
That's right.
Which I guarantee is delicious. So and it's available on Amazon now, so you have no excuse not getting yourself a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just did some cooking and meal prepping, same as you.
That's right. Yeah, I even done a little something. I'm gonna keep it on the rats right now, but it does consist of smoker fried. So
No, oh boy.
yeah, just another variety. Try something different.
You gotta make sure it turns out decent enough, right?
Oh, it did. It did. It was
Oh,
great.
ooh, all
Yeah.
right. Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a
Okay.
little something different.
Yeah.
Not
Um,
chicken wings. Not chicken wings.
no, that's what I figured. I figured it was a
Yeah.
different protein or a different style of
Just
protein.
different protein. Absolutely.
So I finally got into that blueberry rub from Far
I
Out.
got you.
So we'll see how that goes. What's up, Redbeard? Hey, speaking of Redbeard.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm off. That's who TDN collab with. That's who produces the Zab Zesty
That's
and
right.
Bagel, available on Amazon, like I said, or the website. But hey, I know, man, we went kind of long winded on this one.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys probably
He
aren't here to see
he
our
done he
faces.
done took a nap back there and everything.
Well, I mean, after his day yesterday, he might have needed a little power nap.
He might have. Hell, it was well deserved too.
Yes. So, who did we fish out to this week, David?
So we brought him in from the Midwest. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
let's see, how can we say it? I mean, he does have that great white smoke.
The
I mean,
good white smoke,
the
not
good
that.
white smoke, not that old bad nasty smoke.
And he's got plenty of stuff to back that up. So
That's right. There's a bunch of hardware to back that whole deal up too.
mm-hmm. He's on Kakalaki with you too,
Yep,
right?
yep. He's on Team Kakalaki. Yep, sure
And
is.
we know we just had Grubbs on, who's on Curveball, or who just got picked up by Curveball. This guy's already on Curveball, so this
That's
guy,
right.
him and Grubb are teammates. When we found that out, had to get him on. Plus, had him in the chat, just blowing it up, just getting us all tickled pink. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right.
So we had to get him on here. Hey, without further ado, let's pull him in. Dave White with Great White Smoke.
What's up, boys?
What's up, man?
Living the dream, bro. Just
Right.
You're right, man. I still don't think I'm caught up on sleep for sure, man. Down for
No So how was yesterday? Tell us all about it real quick.
It was good, man. It was hot. I mean, it's different. I got family down south in Mississippi, and we always bicker about humidity and who's got it worse. But man, the hills here in southern Indiana, that air just sits
Ooh.
on you. So it was a sticky one, but my guys, man. I mean, I got the best team out. I mean, really, just for the Great White Smoke team, it's my family, and two dudes I grew up playing baseball with and just running the woods here in Indiana. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I get a lot of the credit, man, but them dudes, they carry the load for sure.
Hell yeah. Dude, I don't know how guys could do all that one man. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way, dude.
Yeah, I got respect, man. The guy next to me, Jacob Gherkin, smoking pickles, he does it all the time, man. And he's been programmed together. I think it's a different kind of discipline. I mean, those are the dudes that are just straight by clocks. They got everything written down. They're just on their program.
I got you.
Way more disciplined than me. I just let it fly and ask everybody how I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucy's calling you the champ.
That's Team Kakalaki right there too, man.
Yeah. Man.
Hey, if you want to talk about being made feel special, a group that's a bunch of Kakalaki people, north and south, letting the Midwest. Right. That's some real love, man. I appreciate it.
Hell
yeah, man, for sure. Then we got Miss Karen White. You got to be on your P's.
That's Mama.
I was gonna say you got to be on your P's and Q's now.
Yeah, Moms is watching. Everybody look out. She's seen it. She's seen enough, man.
Has she?
Yeah.
She's been in camp, so.
All right. Speaking of the Carolinas, what's up, Owen?
Nice. Yeah, man. Paige and Kakalaki. I mean, man, you know, I constantly try to spread the good gospel about that. The products are phenomenal, but the dude is even better.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
straight up.
great.
I keep hearing he's just like the coolest dude ever. I've never actually met him or got to talk to him personally, but I know his coffee. that bourbon coffee, I can't remember exactly what it is now, but good.
Bourbon pecan.
Yeah, man.
I almost said maple, but I knew it wasn't maple. The
Yep.
bourbon,
Right.
dude. And shout out to Damon, thank you, sir. That stuff
Yes,
is
sir.
Get that on some beef, man. Use that in a rub sometime. It's good to drink, but grind it up and get it in a rub.
Yeah.
I didn't even think.
Yeah. It elevated, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I love. We have a good friend and partner of from Willow Seasoning. He puts I don't know, some special coffee he gets from someone local to him in Colorado in his SPG, and it's fantastic. So
Yeah. I hadn't played with coffee that much, man, until this year. And then I started to learn more about, they say it opens the palate up for whatever the rest of, whatever you're trying to do. So I've been a lot more this year, and it's pretty nice.
One of the good benefits is the acidity, which will help cut the fat that you're using on your beef. And it just makes everything better. It just does.
Yeah, man. Well, that's like, I like coarse rubs anyway. It's
That's
hard.
right.
In competition, it's a little different because it makes you look cakey. But if I'm going to eat it, everything, even sides, man, give me the coarse.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
My pepper grinders are set on the pretty chunkiest one you can.
Love it, man.
Well, it's like I put it on there. I want to taste it too. I don't want it to just
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always say that with our coleslaw, man. We get, it's just a creamy coleslaw, but we get crazy compliments on the food truck, and I think it's the extra pepper and the thick, because it's like real sweet, but then that thick, coarse pepper gives it, heat that hangs around. It's a good balance, man.
Right. Absolutely, man. That sounds like a southern coleslaw almost.
Yeah,
There's some places around here it's very, very heavy on the pepper.
Yeah, my family, I'm from, like I said, southern Indiana. I was born here, but the generation before me was Arkansas and Mississippi, and I still have a big family down there just south of Memphis, like northeast or northwest Mississippi.
Okay.
So I'd go there in the summers, man. I tell you what, a China buffet and this and that. That Mississippi was the first place I ever seen an all you could eat barbecue buffet. Changed my life, bro.
Dang.
all you eat.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
No way.
Yeah, we got several of them around here.
I mean, well, having the truck now, man, like, and that's, a lot of people around here know that we have a food truck, and that's where it all started, but it's the price of everything is so high, man. I ain't taking the truck out much the last couple of years. Catering is good because it's a calculated risk, but the truck, man,
but just
on the street,
have 300 people show up that day with how much meat costs. No, thank you.
Yep. So I'm lucky, man. My wife's got a good job now. When we started, it was a whole thing. We were just trying to supplement both incomes. She went back to work, got a good job. So it took the chase off the street right on time, man. Everything happened like perfect timing. So now the catering is good, and I've been doing a lot more competition stuff. Obviously, you'll never break even, but we're doing enough to stay in the game. You know what I mean?
That's right. So before we get too far in, how did actually Great White Smoke come about?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. So I was a landscaper from high school out through college. And when my kid was born in 2013, he's got Down syndrome, and he had some stuff that he was hospitalized with for like 30 days. They almost, she was in there for like 30 days. So on a seasonal income, you know, coming out of that, the nurses were like, you should try to like pop up and sell wristbands at a Kroger, a grocery store. So I went the first day and we did that with some cookies, and they asked if we wanted to do a cookout, right? So they got this Coke truck sitting out there, and they donated hamburgers and hot dogs. I did Jessica's crock pot pulled pork, and we just started selling out and so they invited, after the first couple weekends, they just invited us all summer. And so I started to see that it was going to take off. So we built the food truck, and we were trying to pick a name. So, you know, Dave White, you know, is obviously that's my last name. But people would say how they were finding us were they could smell us from down the street, and it smelled great. Or man,
Amen.
great. So one day I just said it, it just kind of popped out. I was like, we'll just call it Great White Smoke. And everybody was like, that's it. As soon as I start competing, you know, and the trolls, man, I've heard Thin Blue Smoke. You don't want, you know, this. I'm like, man, it didn't sound as, you know, Thin Blue Smoke barbecue. Not to knock, I know there's teams out there with that name.
Right.
But for us, man, you know, hindsight, I'm like, I get it. I set myself up for the roast, but you know, it's
yeah.
That's why we said you got the good white smoke.
Just lean to the side real quick and let them know, like it ain't that white smoke.
It ain't no fluke.
That's a couple the girls put out, man. Yep, it's good. Well, hey, here's a good one. Look at this. I did bring that just for fun.
Yeah.
Right.
we need to come back for that one.
Yeah, that's the good one, man. Right there. It's probably my favorite. So
yeah, that's badass.
Yeah, old Paige, man.
So have you been barbecuing your whole life and all that, or is that something you got into later? Or?
So, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm an 80s, 90s kid, man. Like, you know, I'm on that, you know, I'm 42, man. So pre-technology, Southern Indiana, in Bloomington, Indiana is where, you know, Indiana University, IU, you know, the Hoosiers. So huge college town right next to rural Greene County here. And, you know, I grew up, you know, we went camping, cooking in the ground, you know, catching fish, cleaning them, eating them, hunting, doing all that stuff. So, and I always cooked burgers and dogs, but I had never barbecued. So when the thing took off and Jessica's pulled pork was the most popular thing, it went from a crock pot to roaster. I was cooking them, trying to like slow roaster pans. And eventually my cousin sold me the first smoker. It's like a hog cooker, like an old fuel oil drum, you know, just the old school ones you see, you know. And I took to YouTube, bro. I mean, really, I started watching the TV shows and YouTube for burned a bunch of meat. I mean, they said you honor the kill with the cook, man, and I dishonored a nation of animals. So bad, you know. But you got to make bad barbecue to make good barbecue. I believe that.
This is true.
Yeah. Yes. Or at least, not. I still don't get everything exactly where I want it every time, and that just like that's still the chase. You know what I mean? Like I messed anything up in I don't know how long, but I still, you know, like those could have been way better than that. What the, you know? Try to get
yesterday. You know, we walk out with a win yesterday, and man, there's a joke goes around, and you know, competition guys all say it. When you think you've made your worst dish, that's when you win. When you hate everything. So yesterday, you know, I really didn't like the ribs and pork, and I mean the ribs we got a 178. You know, almost the perfect score. And I was telling Tony, you know, my partner on the way home, I said, like, that's the most aggravating thing is when you do well and you've hated it, how can you try to move toward that? You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But it's going to try to cook them, you know, tight ribs all the time, you know. So it'll drive you crazy. You know, when new guys, I tell them, I'd rather be lucky than good in competition. You know, it's so much different than like catering, you know, and how you cook that way. So
Mm.
So in that aspect of it, what cooking difference is there between the competition versus what you do at the house or what you do for your catering?
you know, the competition game evolves and it moves around. So like now the ugly drum smokers and the stick burners are hot because they put that char flavor on it a
Mm-hmm.
little more.
Mhm.
So like I'll cook right on the grate for a competition to try to get char on more parts of that, you know, whereas if I'm going to cook a bunch of butts and make a ton of grease or, you know, tallow for the pork and the brisket, I'll cook them in pans for catering, try to trap that. Because if I'm going to hold, you know, pulled pork that's already been pulled for hours and hours, I like to keep all that extra juice around, you know, reincorporate it, try to
Mm-hmm.
keep
Mhm.
it out. But it's that and just, you know, the finishing temps, you know, when I'm cooking, you know, pulled pork for catering, you know, I'll go out and I'll push on the top of the foil and see if the butt just gives under my hand, you know, I'm like, yep, that'll pull. Whereas, you know, trying to slice a money muscle, you're, I mean, checking that thing, you know, toward the end, you're checking every 5 minutes. You get close with your temperatures, but then for me, it's all about feel. When the probe does what I want it to do, I know the
Mm-hmm.
knife's going to do the same thing. You know,
Gotcha.
I'll let the stuff I'm going to make for pulled in a box run, just like catering. I'll let it run up, get real tender, like, you know, just. But that money muscle, man, you got to drill it. You know, ribs. Everybody says they like it a little tight. You know, you can't just fall off the bone. You know, so. And when I cook for the truck, man, everybody wants them just to fall off the bone. So,
That's right.
you know, it's wild, man. It really. It took me a long time to figure that competition stuff out like that. You know, couple years for sure.
So how long have you been competing for barbecue?
So we started cooking in 2013 that fall, and then 14 we hit it heavy and did some local competitions like chamber events, you know, with the restaurants.
Yeah.
And we beat a guy who was local, but he cooked the jack that year and got third. Bill Magerlin from Thunderhog. It's
Woo!
like my Obi-Wan. We beat him that year, man. Just lucked into just one of those cooks, man, that was just nailed it. And
Yeah.
then he introduced me to KCBS cooking. And then, you know, we started cooking local series. And then KCBS kind of had a backyard thing start up too. So we got in the sport in a great time. You know, 15 through 20 was awesome. You know, 2020 to 2021 was kind of sucked, you know.
Probably did for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, you know, man, for the, it was terrible because we had just got momentum. I mean, 2020 was the first year we made Team Royal Oak. So, you know, we're
Gotcha.
sponsored by Royal Oak Charcoal,
Mhm.
and that's very competitive. You know, that sponsorship, man, everybody applies for that. So you got to get cooks in, you know. So I was stressed, man, but luckily it was like that for everybody, you know, and we've been able to be on the team ever since.
There you go. That's awesome.
I've heard I've heard that. Exact like man, I started like a couple years before. I was doing it for a while, but I didn't get my footing. And then right when I started getting it, oh, you can't do
Yeah.
anything anymore, you know. And it's just, it's nice to know that so many people stayed in it, still, you know, still kept, because a lot of people, man, right when you're, especially if you've had defeat or stumbling blocks, and then you finally find your groove, and then poof, it's gone. You're like, well, what the hell was any of that for then? Like, I'm done. This is, you
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I see it too, man. And, you know, that's what, well, next weekend I'm hosting a competition here just because
What?
so many events failed that year. That was 2020 was the first year I had my event Hog Days.
Okay.
And I hated it. The first 2 years it was terrible. And now I have just the organization, man, is so bad. But we've started a nonprofit the last couple of years where we do like what OBR does. We go feed, if there's a disaster, people. So that's our biggest fundraiser of the year now. And it started from just trying to make sure there was one more event for everybody, even though I couldn't cook it, man, because Indiana, we lost a bunch. But thankfully this year, man, it's an explosion. I don't know about where you guys are, but man, we got events everywhere. My wife has me in check right now, dude.
Like, whoa, buddy, whoa.
Pull it in a little bit, man.
I'm out in California, and I know there's tons of comp guys here, but I imagine they have to be doing some sort of traveling to be able to hit as many as some do.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're like Joe from Cherry Anchor. He lives like 45 minutes up the highway from me, and that's his whole game. That's all he just loves. He kills it out there, and I'm like, where does he find it? But I know he goes out of state for some too. So
yeah.
I'm out of that loop. I don't really. I've never done a comp. To this day, I have desire to like go and kind of experience it, but more as like a helper, a teammate,
dishwasher.
Yeah, I'll wash dishes, watch the fire for a minute, but
judge. You ought to go judge, man. That's the best way. Like it took me, like I got in it, then I found out about judging, and that's what really kind of took me to the next level because they call it shigging. You should go shig somebody for their recipe. You're trying to find secrets, and man, there's no better way than to judge a local comp. And for me, I found out I was too spicy and needed to put way more honey in than I would have ever thought because the guys that were killing it were hitting those honey notes, man, hard.
But see that, like, and maybe this is just me, but like that's my irritation with it is like you have to nail this profile. That's it. The only thing anybody's compete like, yeah, you got to be able to cook meat decent. You can't just turn into brick or something undone. I get that, but you're chasing that profile that they're gonna go, oh yes, this is worthy.
Yep.
It's like, man, dude, like that to me that takes all the air out of the bag. Like I'm big adventure. I like to try different things, and it just seems like maybe judging though, that'd be kind of fun. I would love to hold the fate of someone's ribs.
Disheartening.
Disheartening.
Yeah. And that's it, man. You're right. Because the texture, the way I like to eat barbecue, it's not, man, it really isn't like you couldn't sit down and eat a plate of competition barbecue, man. You'd be sick to your stomach. It's so sweet, at least here. It was maybe more vinegar based road, but man, they like the honey barbecue around here.
Jeez. Yeah, that's weird. I know a lot of it around here is like extra like smoky. Like it's tart, it's so smoky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about this right here.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
I will help empty the cooler. That's for sure. Lucy's over here wants to know what's your go-to lump.
It was kind of a two-part. It started off.
Oh,
so it come off first. It was like Royal Oak. What's your go-to bag? Then he was like, sorry, not bag, but lump, jumbo, or what? I'm always messing with different types of Royal Oak.
Yeah. I tell you, man, honestly, both. So for like we use a gravity smoker and we use ugly drum smoker, both. So for both, I start with lump, but in the gravity smoker, that means it's on the bottom. So I'll put lump for the bottom quarter of the chute and then fill it with those super sized briquettes. And man, it gets it going good and hot fast. It gets you up to temp quicker and then just sets in for that long cruise with the briquettes.
Yeah, that
on the back. Yeah, the basket of the ugly drum smoker, which is what we cook our chicken on, I fill the bottom all the way to the top with super sized briquettes, or the all natural too, man. I'm still I like the big ones, but the all naturals killer flavor, especially if you like that extra smoke. Then lump on top, man, and just use their tumbleweeds, and takes off like that, just a few minutes, and then it'll burn that supersized the supersized briquettes in that basket, man, will burn for 6 hours at 300 degrees for sure.
Let's
Dang,
go. All
pretty
right.
dang good.
Yeah.
Do you use any wood when you smoke too, or just the lump, or just the charcoal?
Man,
You
a
have to
little
give
bit of the
secrets.
man. I always tell people, man, especially if we're doing a class or something, I'll give away all of it. You still got to pull it off,
Right. Bingo.
So, but
Bingo.
yeah, I mean, used to, man, I cooked with just wood mostly. I would start with a little bit of charcoal, then just feed sticks, mostly cherry and red oak and hickory. Call it pig nut hickory we got around here. And but the gravity fed and the drum, I really don't a lot of times because you put the little chunks in, and it just seems like to me when I hit those chunks, I get a little bit of that thicker smoke, that bad white smoke, not the great white smoke.
Not the great one.
Okay.
Yeah, and so for the competition stuff, I just stay charcoal.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Now, how do you like the drum smoker versus the gravity? Because the reason I'm asking, because it seems like a lot of comp guys are using those the barrel smokers, because that fat smoke gets dropping, and that is a whole nother layer of flavor. So what what made you
Yeah.
both of those or whatever?
So I was behind the game, man. We got in week by week. So the first series that I won was on my old hog roasters, man. I'm a Marvel guy, so the first one we call him Captain America. He was the first Avenger, So we won that first series on him, man. Just the old sticks. He had hole in the bottom and everything. But then when the cage, I mean, you got to babysit that thing all night, man. But it was the same way. It's not an offset, so it's got one little door on one end, but then it's like 5 feet long. So you can cook right over that fire, right in the same chamber. You can slide stuff down to the other end and be cooking offset, but it's all still in the same chamber.
That's
So
wild.
I used to have that flavor locked in. I got the gravity smoker because I saw one online for $2,500 that would retail for 10 grand all day.
Woo!
So I had to drive 4 hours up the almost,
It's all good.
That was worth it.
and because I had master builds. I tried the first gravity I tried was the master built 560, and I had never experienced moisture. And you want to talk about just like automatic smoke ring? I mean, because that's all a science thing, dude. Just pounding it in there. So I tried to compete with the master built, but it had wiring issues. It's not the best made smoker out there. So some of the wiring stuff was bad. But I'm going to go back to drums for that flavor. In the competition, I just missed the gravity smoker world. And I think it had its time. But now, the flavor is completely different. You can get good smoke, but you don't get that deep, like char flavor, like Jonesy's saying,
Gotcha.
Man.
Yeah, he must have locked up on us.
Yep. Gift and a curse, man.
Hey, man, it happens. It happens. But hey, yeah. Old Grubbs here. He said the drums rock.
Yeah, that's what we're taking. That's what we're all going to cook on out at the
Right.
Royal. About
And then
decided.
Tina Cannon, she says she caters or competes with a gravity fed.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Tina. Yep. She's right there's a barbecue showdown winner right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I just seen her down at the barbecue country show too. I've seen her smoker. It's real nice. It's a lot like ours.
Okay.
I think hers is a deep south, which is what everybody always thinks ours is. It looks like it, but it's a custom job up in Ohio. He said he modeled it off of it in a Stubbs.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Even Quirk, he said he started on the pit barrel,
Yeah,
and it's been
man.
hard to beat the flavor.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. And the versatility, it's and it's still, even though it's all in the same chamber, man, it gets that
Yeah,
good convection in there. I guess it's the shape of those barrels.
right. Like you say, everything's got a science to it. So,
Yep,
and she
yep.
says hers is a Southern Q.
Southern Q. Yep. Okay. Yeah, man. It is. There's no beating, obviously, man, the ease of it, and that's why that's how I sold it to my wife was,
Yeah.
because dude, everybody in my family, I went and learned to barbecue. We started getting the restaurants and the truck and the catering. And at one point,
Mhm.
all the, 13 family members, we were all working for, the company, the barbecue company. And when I started, I was working a full-time job, cooking all night. And I mean, I was literally getting like 4 hours sleep. So that's the thing about them old barrel smokers. You got to throw sticks all night. And it's the
Yeah.
traditional. I think it gets the best results, but you cannot leave it. You cannot leave that thing. I told these guys, I'm like, we'll hook a DigiQ to this big gravity fed, man. And then, you got to do a wrap. You set your temperature and forget about it until you're ready to wrap, and then go wrap it and then forget about it until you think it's done.
There you go. Hey, make it easy for you, because I mean, like you said, that's a lot going on for a comp. I mean, you just got so much moving parts. Anything will help.
Absolutely, man. It takes a team, man, unless you're like we were talking about earlier, one of them solo warriors.
Right. So in the comp world right now, since we're still in the comp talk, what is one of your best advices you could give to anybody trying to get into the world of competition cooking?
It's tough, man. I think that judging thing will help you a lot. That's going to cut time because you're going to get a flavor. You're going to recognize flavor profiles straight away. The only other thing I would say is don't chase. Don't try to do weird things. Don't try to think your stuff's going to be special, that you're going to wow them with some lime cilantro because it's different or something. You need to
Right.
in. And then the best advice I can give you is don't change it. If you're hitting with it and you miss a couple times, don't go changing the program. Don't go searching for what you think you're missing. Just get in your groove. Let other people try your stuff and ask them, man. The barbecue community is a family, and you know this, man. Just
Hmm.
from barbecue fans pull together for stuff like this. And when it's competitions and it's people you see every weekend or a couple times a month or whatever,
Hmm.
that thing is real, man. You can ask them and they're going to tell you, be like, what are you putting in there? Why so much butter? Why,
Yeah.
syrup on that? you know,
Right.
there he is.
Yeah, my phone got too hot and it just blew me off. I ripped my case off, stuck it in the freezer for a minute, and I apologize, Dave. I apologize.
Oh,
Oh,
bro,
no.
I've been there, man. We started, I think, man, Damon, that we had a thing going earlier, man, but between me and the guy that I was trying to co-host with, we just had
Yeah.
so much technical issues, man, that we kind of tried to chill until we get a better setup where we know, man. But I don't know if it's possible. I've done enough of these things now where somebody's falling out at some
Yeah.
point.
Dude,
It
always,
takes a strong internet for sure.
always someone. It's Damon. Damon's been pretty lucky over here.
Yeah.
Only once or twice,
Shit.
right?
After I pay for it, I'm
Yeah.
good. Knock on wood, I should be good now.
Me and Tony, it's just a roll of the dice whether we're making it through a show.
We got me and Charles was my co. I'll never forget. It was one of the last shows we did. We got Kevin Green from the butcher shop on,
Mhm.
and I was holding up signs. I was literally writing on a pad of paper, like, "Sorry, Wile E. Coyote style over here."
we we've done that. We've done that for a couple of guests as well.
Yeah, gift and a curse.
Yeah, they couldn't hear us, so we're like,
Yeah.
start, whatever.
Yeah, I keep a whiteboard over by handy now.
Hey, can't
That's
have
funny.
in the biz. That's why we got him.
Yeah, adapt and overcome. That's barbecue.
Right.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
just that, man. I think that would be, the last piece of advice, man.
Yeah.
I get up in the middle of a cook. Something can happen in the first 2 hours of a 6 hour, 8 hour cook. And you just got to stay in the fight, man. I don't know how many times I either hated it at the beginning or the end, but it seems
Right.
like, it's not over until it's over, man.
But that was a good bit of advice for me too, because I mean, I do once a year, I do a chicken chili wing cook off here in town, put on by the local chamber. And for 2 years now, I've taken second place in wings and taken, people's choice for the whole event 2 years in a row. And
Shout out.
that's my thought process too, is like, damn, what do I have to do to edge this out to get first? But like you said, though, if it ain't broke, don't fix it and don't go chasing nothing. So appreciate that.
Something that I remember hearing like grandmas say this around the kitchen and stuff, that how you're feeling is going to show through your cook, man. So if you start getting bent, go over and throw on some music, do what you got to
Oh,
do
that's
to
always.
get right. You know what I'm saying? Come back to it. And yeah, just ride the horse all the way through, man.
Yeah.
As soon as something starts going wrong, if I don't just like, okay, get, like a fire flare up or something stupid, I'm like, okay, just get the food away from it real quick and save the smoke or whatever you got to do. But
Yeah.
and I'm like, son of a mama. Then it just goes.
Yeah. That's what I mean, man. I've been there, and it's just taking a walk. Just get away from it for a minute, whatever you got to do. Get your head right, come back and figure out how to make it fun. Put some music on. A lot of times, man, it's like too, when you start to just be like, give up. I'm just gonna give up. I'm just gonna finish this cook. As soon as you stop caring, you know what I mean, right back in.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. So doing all these comps, Dave, who's one person you would have never thought you'd have met in your life that you've met in person?
Man,
That's just
bro.
blown you away. I'm sure
Yeah.
you've met a lot.
Well, I tell you, man, it's so funny, dude. These conversations, my wife, when we first started doing those Coke trailer, I mean, I was barely even on a smoker yet. I started watching Barbecue Pit Masters,
Mm-hmm.
and telling my wife, and I'm like, it's funny because these people are really popular, but they're just everyday people to somebody. You know what I mean? Back then,
Yep.
I don't know how the conversation went, but to her, it was. She kind of thought it was funny that I ever thought I'd have a chance to take it that far. But like, they all doubted the food truck too. They thought it broke my brain when I first said we were going to do a barbecue food truck. Nobody was on board, man, from the Coke day. So that's what it's like, man. People will take, because it ain't their vision, you know what I mean? But I can see all crystal clear. And so I was watching, the Aaron Franklins, the Myron Mixons, and then as time progresses, you start seeing all the world champs, the Heath Riles, Malcolm Reed, the taxi guys, you know what I'm saying? The three taxi guys, the barbecue ninja,
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough to really, because last year was the first year we got invited to the Royal Oak Invitational. So I've been at competitions where you'll see one killer and you go over and talk to them. We've cooked against Myron, you know what I mean? So that was for me, that was, the winningest guy in barbecue. That was really
for sure.
Him and Bill Wheeler. That's
yeah.
Second, right?
Johnny Trigg, man, is somebody I haven't met that I'd really like to meet, and but when I went to the Invitational last year, dude, everywhere I looked, Heath Riles, Malcolm Reed.
Super.
Oh, geez, man, yeah.
That's where I finally met, the barbecue ninja. And from day one, man, all of them guys, everybody in that Royal Oak group, you can call any of them, text message them, whatever. Everybody's there forever. So
that's what it's about, man.
Yeah, that blew me away. David Buska, I think think that's his, the Butcher Barbecue. He was on Barbecue Pitmasters.
Oh yeah.
Several times. Well, I won his drawing last year. I won the K4L drum and this, and I get a message and it's like, you've won this. I thought it was spam at first. I'm like, whatever. Then I get the voicemail and it's him on my voicemail, and I call him back on cell phone, talk to him for like 20 minutes, man. And he's like, anytime you want to call, need product advice, how to use it in a competition. So just my phone's crazy these days, man. And I still feel like that dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Couldn't know any of these people or whatever. And it's wild, man.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So I do want to get to this real quick. Where is it? Right here. Oh, hey, Tina Cannon says you're a nice guy. That's awesome. Thanks, Tina.
That's high prep, Pearl Queen.
Yeah, she'll be on the show season 1. She's season 1 Netflix American Barbecue Showdown champ.
Yep.
And got her and season 2 champ Thyra Mixon coming on.
Thyra Matthews.
Sorry, we talked about Myron so much.
Yeah.
Thyra Matthews on the 18th. So not this Friday, next Friday.
Yeah. I tell you, man, too, that's the thing. I got a lot of stuff going on. Last year I got cast for NFL Tailgate Takedown.
Heck yeah.
But I ended up, yeah, season 1, episode 2, but we ended up being the alternates. So it just ended up being, they flew us out to Denver, stood on the sideline.
Dang.
It was cool though, man. It pays $300 a day out there.
Hey,
put us up downtown Denver, bro. So I don't get much better than that weekend. And yeah, but the experience from that, has led to a lot of other things. Here's another piece of advice. If you're gonna do anything in barbecue, start your resume and make sure that you're keeping track of your accomplishments, because if you want to do things like make a show or something, you got to have a strong resume and a strong social media following. So you guys are doing all that kind of stuff right. You can compete, and it ain't always about winning, man. It's just about getting out there and being in the street and getting your name out. You know what I'm saying? So right now I'm in the late runnings for a few things I can't talk about because it might disqualify me.
Of course.
So, but there's a lot of stuff, man. You might be seeing more of my ugly mug than not soon. So
that's awesome, man.
Hell yeah! Congrats.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's wild.
So
my dad passed away a couple years ago, and he always said that, man, the places barbecue has taken us from a guy that was a landscaper, stacking blocks, to where it is now. Never saw it coming, dude.
Right? No,
that's awesome, man.
I said the same thing, dude. I got on here because I was cooking for therapy, man. I started cooking. I used to cook all the time, and then work, live, family. You just kind of get in the humdrum of things, and it's just making dinner or whatever, feeding the family, whatever. And then really, I remember one of my daughters, she came home and she's like, "Look at this picture. We need to make these." And I was like, "Oh, that's easy." They're called atomic buffalo turds. It's basically a jalapeno popper with a sausage in it.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Recently, and I was like, dude, I wish I had my camera going back then, even thought like any of this was possible. Because I did some of that shit long before it was ever a trend. Not saying I did it first. I'm just saying, obviously I got shown a picture, but dude, it was just, and then when the country shut down and all that, it was like, I spent a lot of time like trying to tell people about some things, and that just became too negative of an environment. And I just started cooking again. And I started posting pictures because I thought it'd be cool. I saw a buddy doing it, and I'm like, man, he looks like he's having fun. And then all of a sudden, poof, here we are. Like, me? How? I didn't even do anything, I feel like. But what's crazy, well, you were saying earlier when you were talking about it's about getting out there, like even though you didn't make the cut, you were just fill in or the next stand in or whatever. like how many times do you hear about winners from like these TV shows? Most of the time you hear about the top tens making albums or doing something or doing this or whatever, and the person who won just gets stuck in some Vegas show for a couple years, humdrumming in Vegas. But you know, oh, that guy got 8th on American Idol and he's put out 4 albums since then or whatever.
Yeah.
So
True.
don't think, folks, that you're out of the running. Don't ever think you're out of the running and you can't do something you want to do.
Yep. 100%, man. That's what, some of this stuff that's coming up, like NFL Tailgate Takedown was a one-stop shop. I was going to get one episode, but like some of the stuff I got going that could happen is multiples where, just like, man, I mean, I think Grubby was like 4th or 5th overall on there, man, rolling out to Australia.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just what you put into it, man. You gotta can't think that just because maybe you won something, I guess, that everybody's gonna come to you. Man, I Google contest. You're talking about like dinner and how it gets you get in that rut. Man, like Heath Riles right now has the 10-week contest where each week you have a theme. Okay. And that stuff, I like doing that kind of stuff. It's fun. You can win prizes, but more than that, it just kind of gives you inspiration. It's giving you a challenge of, okay, cook brisket, but then elevate it,
Mm-hmm. So what's up, Tyron?
Tyron, what's up, bud?
There, man. Wow.
Hey, speaking from a champ, they don't come to you. Yeah, it's like we already got what we need from you.
That's right.
You know?
So you was talking about the little Heath Riles comp you was talking about. This wanted to cook off that, right?
Yeah, that was our chicken entry, man. That was good eats, man. Biscuits. I'm a sides guy too, man. Don't get me wrong on the chicken, but mashed potatoes and gravy.
Yeah, I see that there.
That's awesome.
That's mac and cheese right below it.
Yep. Yeah, man. And then
you better watch
out. Yeah, man. I think one of my favorite things that people say is elevate. Elevate, and that's I think, and Tina will tell you this for sure, and I'm sure Tyron will. Like, if you're going to put butter on something, elevate your butter. Get some of that Heath Riles, garlic butter or jalapeno garlic. Get that in there. You're going to brush you're going to brush your biscuit with it. Take that butter to the next level, man. Everything you can do to separate one bite if it's competitive,
True.
Yeah. Yep. So I want to get back to this though, because we know we got a question about food trucks.
Yep.
When you do the food truck, what's your cook process? Do you have a smoker on the food truck or cook beforehand and roll with the smoke, pun intended?
Yeah, man. I started with nothing in this thing, man. I built that cabin on wheels, and if you see it on our social media, it just rolled 10 years old. But I took an old 73 Starcraft camper, old one, knocked it down to the frame. And each week, the money I was making at the grocery store selling barbecue in the lot, I was buying boards. And one of my best from growing up, we built that thing, and we had intended to have a smoker on the back, but it just wasn't long enough, man.
Right.
So I would always pull. I've had so many setups that involved a smoker coming to it, but it's nice to have it there, but not necessary, really. We use Cambros and stuff, so a lot of times we cook at home, get everything all panned up, and keep it in Cambros. If it's going to be a super long event, like if I'm there for 4 hours, I probably won't bring one unless people want it for just to smell the smoke. Like if it's at a wedding or something, they like to see it sitting there. But if I'm just going to this, then I'm pulling up with a Cambro.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, we got a couple more of his stuff, right, Damon?
Yeah, we do. We got that one right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's
that spread, dude.
that's got me in the finale right there, man. I won that week, so
there you go.
Got me in the running for an outlaw smoke, patio smoker, man.
Heck yeah.
Fingers and toes crossed on that bad boy.
Yeah, for sure. Then we got that one right there.
Mm.
Can't go wrong with steak dinner.
Steak entry, yep. Some stuffed potatoes, stuffed mushrooms.
Oh, that cornbread, bud.
Yeah.
Good night.
And there again, man, you know, I went and learned how to barbecue, but my wife and sister-in-law, man, they're way better cooks. Like straight up, as far as like depth of flavor, like, you know, ingredient pairing. They took me to school, bro. Like I said, I get to be out front a lot, man, but I'm far from the most talent. So I'm just lucky enough to be able to retain some of it and pull it off when they're not around.
Yeah. So before we get too far,
oh, go ahead, Dave.
Tell you,
go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
Well, it's just a real funny, quick story. I told you that when we started, it was my wife's crock pot, you know, pork and everything. And she wasn't up at the truck. You know, she was home. We got a newborn baby. We're all just back from the hospital, man. So I'm up there on the weekends and getting all the credit for this food, right? And I mean, it was her homemade barbecue recipe. We'd put a pork butt in there and then put her barbecue sauce in with it to cook, right?
Yeah.
So everybody coming up and loving it, you know, kill or whatever. And we got talking about the sauce, and to a friend of hers from growing up, I said, yeah, man, I'm going to call that Sweet Baby Dave's. And back before I got home, and yeah, she was ready to talk about it once we got in. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's got to be the first name of the sauce when you put it up.
Right. It too, man, just some killer. It really reminded me of a Carolina sauce because she had a lot of apple cider vinegar in that one.
Yeah.
Tomato. It was good, man. Ain't lying.
I'm a big fan of that Carolina vinegar style. I like that. I like that tang, man. I love it.
That boy, that Tar Heel, that Kakalaki Tar Heel sauce is money, man. That's
I have to get some.
All of his stuff is good, but when he came out with that, you know, I got one, you know, because it's, you know, it's obviously North Carolina Tar Heels themed up, and I'm Indiana Hoosier. The Hoosiers and the Tar Heels have some history in basketball, you know.
Yeah.
I use a local lady up here, Hoosier Daddy barbecue sauce. She's got this peach sauce called Sweet and Sassy. And I mean, it's dynamite, man. And what really hits up here, and really, man, I've cooked from here to Georgia in competitions, and mixing a sweet sauce and a vinegar sauce, any combination of those that's key. And I mixed the Tar Heel sauce and the Hoosier Daddy, and I call it the ACC Big Ten matchup.
Ooh, shots fired.
Awesome.
It's
heck yeah.
Yeah,
it does. It probably the vinegar probably cuts it pretty good.
It is, man. It thins it up too. You know, that's why you don't want a real thick sauce, you know, to turn into the judges, or a real sticky one. And if you're trying to get honey in, you got to have that vinegar to cut that all up. It's about a 50-50 really blend.
Gotcha.
I've been trying to like learn more about that kind of stuff, like how to pair like acid and fats. It's so like if you sitting there banging out pork belly burn ends and it's covered nothing but sugar sauce, you can get like 4 of those down and go take a nap, you know, because you're gonna need some recovery time. It's so savory, so rich, but you throw like you're saying, a super vinegary sauce, and now you can put down a couple more of those, but it's more palatable. It's not just about like, oh, I can eat more now. It's like, what's going to nail that? Like, what keeps you coming back? That's what you want. Is you want to keep going back to food.
Yeah, man. That Pringle effect. Can't eat just one.
Yeah.
So,
man, it's go ahead.
Okay.
I was just going to say, we get asked a lot, you know, and Indiana is not known for barbecue by any stretch. So people always ask us, what's your flavor profile? And I'm like, I call it Hoosier Q, because it's really a melting pot. Like, a lot of our pork could hit anywhere from St. Louis to North Carolina. You know, it's sweet. The dry rub is savory a lot of times. But if it's beef, man, I'm Central Texas, salt and pepper, coarse ground, like we talked about. Not for competition, because, you know, everybody, you know, it hits different. You got to get that mahogany collar, and they don't really give you as much credit if you don't just. They want you to get a little more creative, I guess, than salt and pepper, man. But Aaron Franklin has never cooked a Brad brisket in his life, bro.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's salt, pepper, garlic. So
Yeah, he's definitely using more than salt and pepper. You heard it here first.
Right.
yeah,
And I mean, it is what it is. But I agree. I agree. No matter what else I put on there, salt. Well, salt. So if we talk about it, like, we're all foodies here in the chat and everywhere. And Adventure just said it. Acid, salt is the balance I strive for. So when people think of, like, oh, this is good seasoned meat, that means you salted it perfectly. That's doesn't have anything to do with anything else. It means you salted it perfectly.
Yep.
Everything else is a flavoring, is how I distinct that. And so you get the right balance of fat with salt and seasoning on your protein. And as long as you don't overdo it with flavoring, you're going to nail your cooks. Whether you're doing, I don't know, I'm not speaking on comps, but it's generally the same principle. It's all about the one bite, and you're just like, oh, that. It's why I can't go out and buy a steak anywhere anymore, because I cook them 1,000 times better at home. And I'm not a Michelin star chef. I don't own any restaurants, but I promise you, I could take you to the best steakhouse here, and we'll pay $60 or whatever for that plate, and I'll come home, spend $60 on steaks, and you'll never go back. I guarantee it.
Yeah, you're not wrong, man. And at competition, that's the thing. It took me a long time, because I will undersalt food a lot. That's been one of my things. Just, I don't want to overdo it. I guess I was always afraid to overdo the salt, but it took me a long time to learn, man. I got to get above what I think to hit what most people like. You know, that salt probably the most important thing.
It's just it's crazy how when you dive into these different things, like, oh man, that's what I'm missing. I'm just not salting enough. Or everybody knows when you put too much salt. Everybody can taste that. So
Right.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't say every single time, but I would say 98 to 99% of the time I'm cooking beef, I've dry brined it with salt in the fridge, at least for half a day. As long as usually overnight. I've done briskets for like 4 days, and just really completely season that all the way through. And then you're now, I know my meat's good. It's good to go. If I did nothing else, it's still going to taste decent, especially with smoke and char and all that searing. But, well, not on a brisket, obviously. But then you just, as long as you got, and then you just be careful about what rub, because you don't want to throw a huge salty rub on top of that. But all those little things, that's just,
It is, man.
I nerd out on this stuff. I'm totally geeking, like we're talking about D&D or something right now.
Nah, man, it is. They got one bite in competition. You get one bite. You know what I mean? So it is all about the balance, 100%, man. That's why I tell guys, once you get it, don't change it. You know.
True.
What you got?
I was gonna say, speaking of competing, you got a huge one coming up here shortly, don't you? And we got a little something we can let show it, but we can't play the music. But you can tell us about it. And you can tell us who all's in this video.
Yeah, man, it's Curveball called up, and they were like wanting to put a super team together for the Royal, man. So, I immediately was flabbergasted. Woo! Yep, called up Grubby, called up Chef Philip Dell, right? That's Team Royal Oak. Charles right there. That's my co-host and founder of Kentuckiana Barbecue Pitmasters. And then Kyle Winkler and his brother Cleet. They're a local team too, but they've been to the Royal a few times now and had some good success. So I just decided, man, that we'd go cook by committee. You know, Grubby's going to cook sausage because why would he not? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Chef Phil Dell's going to cook brisket because, I mean, honestly, dude, 2 years ago, Chef Dell, he went and cooked by himself and got 19th. So
Nice.
we're going to have him cook just a killer brisket. Pork is probably my favorite thing to cook. I've had quite a bit of success. You know, I got a good system. I think it's kind of original to me. I don't know anybody else that really lays it out the same way I do. So
Right.
I'm going to do that one. Kyle's cooking ribs, and then Charles is going to cook chicken. I took Charles with me to the Royal Oak Invitational, man, and in that group, he got 10th place chicken call. So we're going to
Hey,
light it.
You put the best of the best together then.
Right? It's like the all-star.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And, you know, and in doing that, you know, Curveball's super excited about it. Man, I just tell you, I got on with them. You know, I saw them when their social media kind of first launched.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that whiskey, and obviously that kind of hit me, you know. So I reached right out, you know, by starting to do the one comp that I did. Now I help with the series locally. We call it Kentuckiana Barbecue Pitmasters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a 3-meat cook. But anyway, I reached out to see if they wanted to be a part of that in any way, whether it was just bringing, you know, shot girls or whatever to each event. And they've partnered with us all year, man. It's been a blast. But I caught them so early in the social media that we just connected early, man. And they're doing huge things. So they go to in May, you know, the Royal. So I think this will be our first time out, but I don't think it's going to be the last time you see this crew. I think we're all going to end up at Memphis in May next year too. So
heck yeah.
And whatever else, we're gonna be the team.
Yeah,
Bonehead Nation.
That's on my bucket list next year to go to Memphis.
To smoke and fry the Memphis or what?
Nah, I'm just go see. I'm just go look at them. I'm gonna go look at them. I ain't gonna smoke or fry the Memphis.
Hey man, you guys come up and hang out with Bonehead Nation, and we'll just go live. We'll just do the show right from Memphis in May.
Yeah.
All right, that's happening next year for sure.
Yeah, Curveball pay for all the flights.
So besides the stuff you can't talk about in the works, obviously, but what I mean, we know you're going to be comping. Is there anything else for end of the year, beginning of next year? Where's Great White Smoke headed from here?
Well, right now we're in the series chase, so we won the King of the Q is the name of that local series, and we won it in 19. This is the first year we've been able to do it, so we're in the middle of that chase right now. This last win yesterday was a points cook, so that gave us a nice little bump. But it's wild to see how it'll finish in November. So it's still early. We've done 10 cooks this year, and I think we've got 8 or 9 left. So a lot of big things, a lot of, you know, big money contests this year coming down the pipe. But it changes, man. You know, all of the sponsorship, you apply for those, and usually in October and November, December. So the past couple years, we've had it mixed up a little bit. You know, this year we're on Heath Ryle's team. We're on Royal Oak's team. You know, we're still ambassadors for groups like Kakalaki.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Your Daddy? Who's Your Daddy has been really good to me, and they're wanting to dip into more of having a team next year. Nice. So those are conversations we're going to have. We may be Who's Your Daddy Pro Team. I tell you, man, that's kind of the deal. You want to get to where you're just able to go cook. It's so much work to compete. It's a lot like food trucking where it's work, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a hard work. So next year, it looks like I may have more opportunities where I just get to show up and, with a one drum smoker, cook a pork butt on a team full of badasses, for lack of
There
better
you go.
word.
Nice,
And
right?
Heck yeah.
never saw this coming, guys. And that's why it's like it's been a lot of hype. We've been teaching classes, and I'm still, man. You see me in the streets, I'll be the same dude as I ever was. But these opportunities, such a gift, man. Such a gift just to be able to do that stuff.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome, man.
So, hey, real quick though, you said you started. You have like a fundraising comp and stuff like that, or a thing you do. Plug that real quick. I want to plug that real quick.
Yeah, so Romans Warrior Foundation is a retired Marine that I met, and I was ambassador for his organization. Through that, we launched our nonprofit. It's called Hoosiers with Hearts Disaster Relief Team. It's like a 15 name company, but it's what we do, man, is when natural disaster hit, any disaster that's like last year we went to the Eastern Kentucky floods. Damon, I
Mm-hmm.
know that's you, man, that was biblical. Like, if you've ever been to the Appalachians, man, the hollers are so deep that when it rains like that, all the rain comes down the mountainsides and these creeks turn into like 60-foot deep gorges. I was seeing 60 to 70-foot trees with bed sheets in the top of them. That's
Dang,
how deep this water is through there. And
that's crazy.
you drive in towns, man, and there's just foundations, foundation after foundation, no buildings, just empty foundations. So
Yeah, so
when,
horrid.
oh, dude, it was something I'll never forget. Never
Yeah,
forget something like that. So we show up, Operation Barbecue Relief. I'm a huge advocate for them,
yeah,
but it's such a big thing when they roll in. They can't get into ground zero. We're like a special ops team of that, I guess, where we're taking a small group, smaller trucks and trailers. We go right into the middle of it and we feed first responders, victims who can get out. If we can help with any, rescue stuff, once we're on scene, anything we can provide, we'll
sure,
do. And then when we come back, we got these side by side groups. These guys do rides, and then we'll set up trailers at Walmarts and Sam's Clubs. Just pack them with supplies, generators. We just stand out in the parking lot, raise money, take donations, put them on trucks, and after we've been down to feed, we just keep sending supplies until they say they're good.
Heck yeah,
So
man.
that's what we do. Should have probably gave you guys the Venmo stuff up front. It's HWHDR22, I believe, is the thing. So maybe I'll throw that in the comments later or
Yeah.
something. But
yeah, or
yeah,
get it out to us, and we can pin it up on top or something.
Hold on a second, I can get it.
Throw it up on
yeah,
our profiles and stuff. I'm all about supporting stuff like
for,
that, man.
for sure, man.
We had a good friend, Wishing Well Barbecue, been on the show before. He did the same thing. When that tornado ripped through Kentucky, right? He's in Kentucky, I believe.
Yes,
Yeah,
Kentucky. Yes.
Yeah, they had that terrible tornado that ripped. Like, he raised a bunch of money for the school and all that kind of stuff. It's just you can't
yeah,
you can't find people like that. It seems like anymore. And then you hear about it, and you're like, so yeah, definitely get us that information so we can put it out there if people want to get involved and help that out and stuff.
I'm trying to find it now.
yeah, man. I mean, so I used to cook IU football games. In 2014, we got the contract with IU Athletics for all the football. So we had food trucks on both sides. And I mean, Ohio State, Michigan come to town. There's 100,000 people. So I'm sitting here and these disasters happen and we're just 6 hours away. And I'm like, I can't sit here and know that I can cook for thousands and thousands of people and not go down here and try to make sure at least all these people got some hot food, some
Right.
True.
good barbecue. And I'm lucky enough now I told you nobody believed in it in 2014 when I was trying to get my family on board.
Yeah.
Brother, all in it now. And when I something like that going, everybody just goes. So having the support system is possible.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny when we tell people what we're gonna do, and they're like, "Oh, okay, have fun, buddy." Most people think that this is just something cool I do on Fridays and Sundays with my buddies. Like, no, it's gonna be more than that. I promise. I promise.
Man, I'm telling you, the connections are everything. And doing
to.
things like this, and taking Royal Oak, and the Heath Riles' group is the same way, man. You start to meet these people. That's how me and Chef Philip Dell met, was down through Royal Oak. We did the Invitational, found out how close we were. We were like going. So yeah, we're going to cook Carrollton, Kentucky before the Royal for like a warm up. So it'll be cool, man. That one's just a month away. So I'm pretty stoked, man, to get the team together.
Beautifully said, right there. Yeah.
Mama Smoke.
We're definitely blessed to be a blessing. Absolutely.
Right.
Well, that's what I always said, man. They say love thy neighbor, man. And if God never said how big the yard was, you know what I'm saying? So your neighbor,
right.
You guys on the end of this place are my neighbors. So
absolutely, man.
Way to say that, dude. You never said how big the yard was. Yeah, I love that.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Well, it's been an hour and 16 minutes. We usually try and wrap it up about this time. So, real quick, plug yourself, tell everybody where they can find you, all the platforms you're on.
Yeah, man. www.gwsbbq.com. And most of the social medias is either Great White Smoke or GWSBBQ for usernames. That's about the best way, man. And then really, I got to say thank you to like Royal Oak, Heath Riles, Cackle, Curveball Whiskey, Who's Your Daddy, all of those people, man. And there's more, man. Local companies. It takes a village of people in what you're doing, man. So I really appreciate the support from those companies. And I wouldn't use them and plug them if I didn't truly feel like all those things could put you in a winner's circle too.
Yeah,
for sure.
So get out. My phone line is always open too. Anybody watching the show, if you know me, I answer messages all the time. Message me from a comp. I'll tell you, put more salt in it.
Johnson froze up. Just that. I was gonna say that was the perfect one. Lucy said, "Keep being cool and doing the damn thing." But hey, we appreciate that.
Guarantee
Dave,
it.
we appreciate you coming on. Everybody, we appreciate y'all coming and joining us tonight as well. Don't forget to like this show, tell your friends about it, and let them watch it again.
Yes.
Friday coming up on the Dudes After Dark, we have Calling All Captains, and then Sunday we're gonna have Josh Gregory. He takes some pictures that's outstanding. He's got a lot of wealth of information. So join us on both of them shows. Again, Dave, appreciate it. Until we see y'all, see you next time.